Caviar Dreamers.
So excited today. We have on the most amazing entrepreneur.
Talk about starting from like the ground up. This is the American dream.
Yes, we have on Ming, who started Proven Skincare. She was in the financial industry. She graduated Harvard.
Yeah.
And she realized at age 27, she felt like she looked like shit.
Yep. She looked in that mirror, didn't recognize herself, was in a burnout career, a very impressive, lucrative, aspirational career in private equity, but she was not happy with the way she looked.
I just can't wait for you guys to meet Ming. She's going to tell us all about how she started this, the best way to work with venture capitalists. It's just so interesting. You guys are going to learn so much.
Yes. So get your little pen and pencil because you're going to want to take notes on this one for sure.
Hi, Ming.
Hi, Ming. We are so excited that you're on the podcast today.
Yes. And that you came up with this product, this Proven, is unbelievable because it's skincare made easy. And I want everybody to know about it because what I find so interesting that it's custom made for everybody individually.
That's right. Because, after having spent so much money on different skincare products, I feel it's ridiculous that, I would go to the department store and they would say, oh, this thing would do miracles for you. That thing would do miracles for you. And then like Marge Senior would walk in and they would say the same thing to her. It makes.
I know, exactly. And it's, and like someone has bigger, thank you so much. Someone has bigger pores, someone's skin is oilier, and they would just classify it as like, are you dry? Are you regular? Or are you oily? And I think there's much more classifications than 3 different skin types.
Absolutely. From our data, we can tell that there are more than 20,000 different groups and different skin profiles that we group people in. So having 4, supposed types is just, it's just such BS.
20,000. Does everyone hear that? 20,000 different skin types. I mean, and that makes sense based on all the people and all the different ethnicities and the diversity that we have. I mean, my skin obviously is not the same as yours, Ming's, or the same as Lexi's.
No, mine is English corned beef. It's very red and very irritated, and Margaret has magnificent Hungarian skin.
I happen to have, I'm not going to lie, Ming, I happen to have great skin, even for an old bag, even after a facelift. But I've been very lucky. But Proven is, you have the vitamin C. I just want everybody to know about it and how you came up with this. Tell everybody about your background because listen, you're not a dermatologist.
But we partner with the best dermatologists
and
experts to create Proven. So
no, of course, but you didn't, I mean, the way you came about it was, it's not like you were a doctor originally. You came up with it out of a frustration. And that's what I find so interesting. You're so entrepreneurial. So tell everybody how it came up.
Yeah, so I'm Ming. I'm the CEO of Proven Skincare. I am a first-generation entrepreneur. I moved to the States from China when I was 12 years old, not speaking a word of English.
Amazing.
I am also a 3rd-generation entrepreneur. So I think that's where my, this entrepreneurial drive came about. I'm also a mother. My daughter Ember is the same age as my startup. So I also have stories about founding my company while being pregnant and having newborn everything. So yeah, I'm an immigrant. So when I moved here from China at the age of 12, none of us spoke any English. I was in English as a second language, ESOL. We first moved to Florida. So all of my, classmates and friends in ESOL were from Latin America. So when I first got here, I actually picked up more Spanish than I did English for the first, 6 months because all of my friends were, Spanish speaking. But, as immigrants, I worked really hard. We didn't have a lot of money at the time. So I would walk from the apartment complex we lived in to this Barnes and Nobles that was across the street to read their books for free every day for several years. And I worked really hard and really persevered so that within about 3 years of moving into the country, I actually got a perfect score on my SAT verbal.
Oh, amazing. That's so inspirational.
Thank you. And got a scholarship to go to college. And then a couple of years later, I was lucky enough to go to Harvard Business School. And then from there, had a very sort of predictable, respectable business career up until a certain point. So in my late 20s, I was working as a private equity investor in Hong Kong. I was earning a big paycheck, but I was working 16-hour days in this very unhealthy, high stress environment. And one day I wake up and I see myself in a mirror and I was shocked. I was looking so sunken and withered. You know, I was like 27, but I looked so much older. You know, it was kind of like Obama pre-presidency to Obama post-presidency.
I know, poor Obama. We ruined him. The poor. He needs proven, Ming. You got to send him some proven.
Oh, absolutely. Michelle doesn't, but Obama does.
Yes, yeah. Michelle's looking amazing.
So then I panicked and I started buying, you know, all kinds of expensive skincare products as investments. You know, I spent thousands of dollars on these products because, yeah, like as mentioned, we would walk into an expensive department store and the lady would say, this thing will do miracles. This ingredient will do miracles. And I believed her. And I bought all these things, but none of it did anything for my skin. And I just felt so betrayed, you know, on top of having lost my youth. I was also like betrayed by, you know, by these salespeople. So then it wasn't until sometime later that I went to a specialist who first understood my skin, understood my life, learned all about the inside and out of, you know, my environment, etc., before formulating products just for me. And that was the first time that I really saw a difference on my skin. And as I learned more about it, I learned that, you know, our environment, you know, the level UV exposure, the pollution that we're exposed to, even the digital pollution from our screens, that has an 80% effect on what our skin needs on a day-to-day basis. So we talk about, you know, dry, oily, but that all of that, sure, it figures in, but it's only a piece, a small piece of the puzzle. So then once learning about that and learning about how personalized skincare can really improve, you know, results for us, I then partner with the smartest friend I had, who is now my co-founder.
I love it.
She's
that's what I did.
Oh, yeah. I'm not as smart as your friend.
we all need an accomplice, a partner in crime.
Yes.
She was mine. So she is a computational physicist from Stanford. And at that time I didn't know, but she had her own skin issues, and she had built for herself this AI powered database that found all the scientific literature, all the research, all the consumer reviews and testimonials, millions of them, and ran AI algorithms through that to know exactly what ingredients have what impact on what individuals based on who they are, where they are, you know, what their lifestyle is, how they live their lives, etc. So then we combined our two sort of insights. For me, it was personalization. For her, it was data. And then we partnered with the head of dermatology at Stanford University, Dr. Homig, to build what is proven skincare now. So your products are based on more than 47 factors about you. So based on your, you know, gene markers, your environment, down to, you know, the hardness of the water that's in your municipality. You know, when you travel to Florida, you feel like your hair is very like, you know, grimy. That's of the hard water, the minerals.
Yes, yes, I can't. My hair looks like shit when I'm in Florida. Sorry, Ming.
Yeah, exactly. So all of those have an impact, and we learn about all of those from you based on this 3-minute we call it skin genome quiz that is free on our website at provenskincare.com. And then from that, we can then customize exactly what your skin needs into a very simple 3-step routine and send that to you. And we've been getting tremendous customer feedback and report back.
I love it. I think that is so magnificent. And I think, and I mean, obviously women and men, are men using it as well, Ming?
Absolutely, yes. A big chunk of our customers are men, even though we haven't, you know, really marketed to them at all.
Well, I think because men are also embarrassed to say that they want skincare, and they're embarrassed to go in a store sometimes and talk to someone, but they really, especially now, because I remember people were saying after the 2008 crash, men felt the need to look younger because their job was less secure. So I think men really are into this kind of thing.
Yes, because listen, men age also. Though I think they exfoliate more because they're shaving. Is that true, Ming?
That's right. Yes.
Is that why there's
so how they shave, whether it's like a wet shave with a razor or an electric razor, that determines how much exfoliation their skin gets. So we actually tailor our products based on how they shave, or if they don't shave at all.
Wow, I like that. Yes, because my husband, has the goatee. Joe has the goatee, but I feel like he has olive oil in his skin because he's Italian. I feel like he has good skin.
Yeah, he does.
That's true. The Kardashians, all of those folks from there, they have great skin, just naturally oily, self-protected skin.
Ming, how important do you feel sunscreen is?
It is actually very important. We have several dermatologists on our staff. And if you ask them to, summarize all of their skin advice into one thing, they would tell you that it's sunscreen. In fact, our head dermatologist from Stanford, he would prefer for everybody to live in caves. That would be the best thing for our skin. So even now, even when we're all stuck at home, if you're next to a window, or even, if you use digital products, like our digital screen is emitting these blue light HEV rays into our skin all the time. So, iron oxide and zinc and all of those ingredients that are in good sunscreen products like Proven's will have that, which prevent, damage from UV rays as well as digital pollution from our screens.
Well, you know what?
Wow.
I think people don't realize that. And I think that's a big thing, everybody who's listening. We're all on our computers.
Mhm.
Everybody's on social media. They're on their Instagram. I'm on my phone all night. And you're getting that digital emissions, that light.
I never knew that.
I would
That's the
never
first
think of
I
that.
heard of that. That's incredible.
Who would even think?
I guess.
It's actually similar amount of damage as UV, which is so scary. It's a lot of damage.
I know. The funny part
Wow.
is, Meg, I sound like a total ignoramus, and I'm just going to say it. I had this weird theory that sunscreen gives you skin cancer. That was before, not now. I know I sound crazy, psycho, but I was like, the increase in skin cancer, the chemicals going into your skin, baking into your skin. So I always felt like a little bit of sun is healthy because you get the vitamin D, you feel better, you're not depressed. I mean, if you're inside all the time, it's not good.
Yeah, I think, everything in moderation is great, right? Sun in moderation is great, but it's just for our lives, when we have these external factors, internal factors, we don't even know how much exposure we have on a day-to-day basis. So having more protection, especially with good products, products that don't have the harmful nanoparticles and the, sea turtle killing sensory ingredients.
That was sea turtle killing.
Exactly. Is going to be beneficial for our skin.
Yes.
Well,
which I like that. So tell me, with Proven, we have it right here. We have it right here. So people who are listening can't see it, but people who are watching can see it. The packaging is beautiful. I love the bottles. So the kit comes, it's all custom made. It's just really 3 products, which is so easy, because I hate a skincare regimen that's like, do the toner, do the cleanser, do the this, do the that. It's the serum, it's the night cream, it's this. It's like,
Right.
I've had skincare products that are like 25 freaking things, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name the popular one that has, R and an F, that has so many things that you have to do, which is so annoying. But this is literally 3 things that you have to do, which is so fabulous. And it's easy. And I think that's why people don't take care of their skin, because they think it's so hard and complicated, and you made it so easy.
Absolutely. That's part of our dermatologist philosophy, because once we know exactly what your skin needs, we can take those best ingredients that benefit you and take out all the things that don't help you and put those good ingredients into a smaller bundle.
No, I was saying skin is your biggest organ in the body. And
That's
it's
right.
always like such a funny thing to me that we have so many medications and custom things for everything, but the skin.
That's right. That actually really makes me angry, because, for the past 60 years, there hasn't been much innovation or research for skincare. Whereas everything else, for the other organs in our body, it's all personalized. Personalized medicine is how medicine is practiced. But our skin, which is our body's largest organ, somehow has been relegated to this second-class organship. Maybe because skincare has mostly been serving women, and these big companies don't believe that women deserve research and technology. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just been so it's quite unfair. So what we want to do is bring cutting edge technology, bring, award-winning AI, award-winning data and evidence into skincare, so that the care of our skin can be on par to the care of our other organs. If you had an issue with your kidneys, you wouldn't just go to the drugstore and say, oh, give me the most popular kidney medication. But that's
No.
Exactly. So it makes no sense. You wouldn't wear the same shoes as your friend because you have different shoe sizes. Well, you have different skin, you have different environments, you have different lives than your friends. So why would you take their skincare advice? It doesn't fit like that.
Exactly. I mean, I find this so impressive. So this is so great. So now everybody, you know, what I love is that you came out of a career not related to skin. You came out of a career in finance. You saw a need in the marketplace. And I think so many women, and I think it's so inspiring because you have a young child. You totally pivoted. Yeah. Like people don't even know like where to start. You happen to be a genius, which is obviously helpful. But but what I find so impressive, you're an immigrant. You didn't speak English. Everybody always feels like, well, I can't do it. I don't have this. I don't have. I mean, you started really, I think, on the back foot, right? You weren't American. You came from immigrant parents. Your first generation here, right? You know, not even. Were you born? You weren't even born here, were you?
No, I was born in China. I moved here when I was 12.
You were born in China. So that's your daughter's first generation.
That's right.
So I think that's what is so impressive. And I mean, what advice could you give? It's like people want to know what gave you the strength to do this and the drive to do it.
I think the first thing was this rage. You know, this rage that this change that I want to see in the market is not there for me. That I felt like I have been taken by this industry, and I'm not going to just sit down and continue to complain to my friends about it. Like I wanted to do something about it. And I think I was also really lucky that I found a partner in crime who believed in this mission and had this passion that I had, because then when there are two of us, it was easy to surmount all these issues that came up in our journey thus far. Pretty soon after we had the idea and started delving deeper into it, we were very lucky to have gotten into one of the top technology incubators in the country, Y Combinator, which is based out in Silicon Valley. And that's because of, the strength of my co-founder and the technology that we built, which by that point had already won MIT's AI Technology of the Year award.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, we have beat out 400 other AI companies to win this award and to apply to this kind of technology to skincare, which has never been done before. But then pretty soon after we got into the program, we realized that we were both pregnant. I mean, we're not like sister wives or anything, but we were pregnant at the same time. And, we had a pretty real conversation with one of our startup mentors who really was looking out for us. He was telling us like, do you want to make a statement and be on stage in front of, 200 like old male investors while being 8 months pregnant, both of you? Or do you want to, make a successful company and avoid that kind of image? And, it's really sad, but it's true. Like these are the kind of decisions that we have to make as women and as, entrepreneurs who are women who are just living our day-to-day lives, getting pregnant, having babies. There's things that women do, but then we have an additional set of hard decisions we have to make if we want to do other things. So we ultimately decided to postpone that program so that we could have our babies, and then have everyone be none the wiser to the fact that we are new mothers. So
isn't that
isn't
that a sad commentary on? I mean, you did the smart business decision, and I'm gonna say is like what I take it as twofold. It's a sad commentary on life that we're still in that position, but what I love is that you're not a victim. We're not victims. We take it. We know what we have to deal with, and we just do what we have to do to make it happen and to be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? It's already so much better for women like us who want to make things happen.
Yes.
It was so much more difficult. Like people before us probably couldn't even have built a company to the point that we have while taking care of kids. So I already, we feel like we stand on the shoulders of these giant women who came before us,
Exactly. So, and it's changing day by day. And I think I say that, like, I've done things in business that I had to do because it was about the ultimate result. And I say that a lot to people. What is our goal here, people? Do I want to eat this shit? Do I want to do this? No. But to get my ultimate result is what you wanted. We're going to have to do something maybe we don't feel like doing. But guess what? That's what we're going to have to do. Because we're going to get our way in the end anyway.
Absolutely. And then by that, you pave a way for future women that come after you, and you make it easier for them, which, is also very comforting.
Yeah, I think Audrey Gelman was now the first visibly pregnant CEO on the cover of Forbes, right? Was it Forbes?
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
hopefully we can keep changing these attitudes if women just keep pushing forward and
Absolutely.
be victims.
Absolutely.
No, and I just love you. Listen, and you made the right decision for your business, and I love that.
Yeah. So we went through the program while being brand new mothers. I mean, we had like 1 month olds. So we would each bring our giant, milk breast pumps to the program and try to find a room that doesn't have a window in it. It would usually be the bathroom. So, go and pump in the bathroom every time. And one time I forgot these bottles that, come attached to the product. So I had to go and find coffee cups, like fill breast milk into these coffee cups. And I was running around with like 2 coffee cups full of milk, trying to find my mentor to talk about my startup. Just crazy days.
I know you should have put it in one of those old men's cups. Filter coffee.
Take that.
Take that. No, but that's what's so, that's what's so amazing. So has the company grown so much? Tell us about the marketing. Just tell me everything that you're doing. Cause it's just so damn impressive. It really is.
Impressive.
Thank you. The difficult thing and within skincare, and the unfortunate thing that that made me want to start Proven too, is that it is an industry that is so over marketed, right? Every kind of marketing message that could have been come up with, somebody tried to, hype up the products who probably at the end of the day didn't do much. So we have a big barrier in front of us, because even though we have, record-breaking industry-leading technology and experts who, are really industry-leading in products who we've gone through, clinical trials to prove their efficacy, we still have to go through these hurdles of having to share the message with people who are so jaded, who have heard everything there is to hear, and who thinks that anything new could just be another thing that, is out to trick them, because I've experienced that myself. So we were very cognizant of that, and just wanted to make sure that the folks that we worked with, the message we shared, can get through all of that, all of that distrust. So we were very fortunate to have been featured on Shark Tank and the Today Show and other TV programming that helped us to tell the story, because it is such a unique story. By the time we came on the Today Show, they hadn't featured any skincare companies in more than 5 years. And you can imagine how many skincare companies apply. And that's because they saw through how much technology and how differentiated Proven is. So we really appreciated these opportunities to get through all the muddle and get through the past bad history of skincare.
What happened on Shark Tank?
Yeah, so Shark Tank, it was such an interesting experience. So to get on the show, it takes about a year. So at first, actually one of the producers reached out to us when we first founded the company, because he had read about us on TechCrunch or something. But at that time we weren't ready. We were still, deeply researching developing the products. So then we were like, let's get back to you in about a year. So in a year, I reached back out to him, but he had already left. He was like, why don't you go and do a open casting call? So I found the closest one to me. We were all based in San Francisco. So I went to one in Portland, went through an open casting call. It was just an amazing experience. So many excited entrepreneurs there to share their baby with the world. There was a lot of mingling. I was tasting people's hot sauce, etc. Just so much positive energy. And then the different producers really liked what we were doing. So then we finally had a film date, and we had to come up with a story. People were like, oh, you should really have a shtick. So many people have shticks. They bring robots, and they jump through doors to make it on TV. We're like, no, that's really not us and not our brand. We are kind of like skincare nerds. We just want to share our story authentically with the world. So that's what we did. And we were lucky enough to still be picked up to be shown on TV, even though we didn't have one of these, crazy storylines.
Did anybody give you an offer?
No, we didn't get an investment, which, in fact, the investment wasn't necessarily the goal that we had, because we had come out of Silicon Valley. We had some really top technology investors already on our cap table, which we really appreciate. So going on Shark Tank, we were hoping for an investment, but we weren't necessarily expecting it.
You didn't need it. You didn't really have to have an investment.
Necessarily need it. Yeah. So we just wanted to get our story out to to America, which being on the show really helped us do.
You know, let me just ask you, not about the company, but I'm just saying, this is like just advice in general. Like people always ask this, and I just say, you know, every deal is different. So I just want you to help other entrepreneurs, this is just general business advice. You know, people always say, when you have an investor, you're allowed to take a salary.
Oh, absolutely. You should be taking a salary, because you know what? It's kind of like when you're, you know, on the airplane and they're like, put on your own mask first. You're in this business, in this, you know, this mission for the long run. You need to be able to take care of yourself, your wellness, your mental health, your family, because they're all in it with you, right? You know, you're investing, they're investing everything too. So you need to be able to live and, you know, situate yourself before you can apply, you know, your mental energy, your physical energy into your startup. So you definitely have to take care of yourself first.
Yes.
It doesn't mean, you know, having a cushy salary. No, you know, very few entrepreneurs do, but you need to be able to live, and your family need to be able to live.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I just also want to say is just like, it's better to have a smaller piece of a big pie than a big piece of a small pie. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the reason that we've been able to see the amount of traction and growth that Proven has seen, you know, what we launched in October of 2019 last year, and within a year, we're already a multi-million-dollar company.
I mean, that's crazy.
Through a pandemic also.
That's right. That's right.
Through a pandemic.
And I attributed so much of that to the fact that we were willing to partner with top partners, whether that's, you know, top dermatologists or, you know, top, you know, marketing thinkers and top UX designers, et cetera. And we weren't, you know, just because we didn't have a lot of resources, we weren't like, oh, let's just, you know, hoard it together and just try to keep as much as possible. Like, first of all, I've learned so much through this process, you know, as a young first-time entrepreneur, through partnering with these folks. And two, the company has grown so much more than I would have even expected. So we'll definitely have to share that and, you know, get as many good people into the process as possible to scale faster.
Yes. And and it's worth giving up equity and correct. That's the correct thing.
I think it really depends on the person and the situation. You know, what we've done is to do that in a very judicious way, where, you know, you don't give a big chunk of equity out in the beginning. You know, you do it in stages, so that as that person proves themselves to you, because there are a lot of people out there, as I'm sure you know, that have great resumes, but then you bring them in and they can't do anything.
Yeah, believe me, that's happened 1,000 times. That's going to be part of my book. It's just like, whoo.
Right? Perfect on paper, but nothing else. So you have to really avoid those kind of people. So you really have to make sure that what they can deliver. And then if they can, absolutely reward them generously, you know, partner with them long-term. So, I mean, that's so much part of the learning.
Yeah, so it's like a bar. It's like a bar. It's like you said it, they get this if this happens. They get this if this happens.
Exactly. They call that, you know, vesting, and there are a lot of standard agreements that you can search on the internet for these kind of standards agreements. You know, advisors, their shares vest over 2 years or 4 years, just so that, you know, everybody has good protection.
Yes, which is great, which is so smart.
Absolutely.
So Proven, what is the next steps for Proven? Like we're going to be pushing it out there. People are going to have amazing skin. Everyone's going to look gorgeous. Plastic surgeons are going to go out of business.
Yeah.
So, you know, with COVID especially, like, people are intuitively understanding how important personalizing our wellness and our self-care is, right? Because the same disease of, you know, coronavirus affects different people so differently. You know, some people barely feel a thing and others are very, very ill. And that's because of how different our bodies, our backgrounds, our environments make all of that. So I think people are, you know, naturally understanding why the things that we put into our bodies and on top of our bodies need to be tailored to who we are. So, you know, it's counterintuitive, but, you know, coronavirus is actually really helping us. So we definitely want to we're in the process of continuing to improve our products. In fact, we have so many complaints about like maskne and all the issues that COVID is causing.
That's true.
From, you know, indoor air, from lack of sun, lack of exercise, that we're coming up with new products to help with those issues and improving our products to tailor to those issues. We're even coming out with a mask that is made of 100% mulberry silk that prevents against maskne and is actually beneficial to your skin. So I'd love to send you guys both some as soon as
thank you. We would love that. Thank you.
Yeah, by the end of this month, we'll have a bunch of those in as well. So we're just basically trying to learn from our customers and serve them as best as possible. I think that's how we grow.
No pressure. Just find a good cream for cellulite.
Okay.
No pressure, Ming. I'm just saying, you know, since you are a genius and you're working with top dermatologists and your products are so fabulous. I just like something for the dimples on my yes.
I think that one, isn't there like French machine that really helps? It's kind of like an ironing board for your
No, there's another thing. I make my husband with like this bar. What was it called? The fascia blaster, and it gives me bruises. It does work. Listen, I got to like stop the eating and work out more. But if there's any cream to like, you know, make the skin, the fibers, the skin, whatever, I think that would be great.
What I think is so impressive though, and I think everyone needs to acknowledge this, the skincare industry, when you launch a new product, you are going up against giants. You're going up against Estee Lauder, you're going up against L'Oreal, you're going up against, I mean, all these huge
Johnson, everybody from, I mean, the giants. And you have come out so strong and with such science behind it.
And something that they cannot do. They cannot do this for anyone in a department store at a counter or at a drugstore counter.
Exactly. Are you thinking that you would maybe want to do the model of having people sell it for you?
You know, we haven't thought much about that. You know, I think that's very innovative and very interesting. Right now, we are just direct to consumer through our website at provenskincare.com, but we are definitely open to, you know, having friends tell, you know, Proven to their friends. We already have like customers that do that naturally, but setting up a process to do that, I think that would be really interesting. And thank you, Lexi. I think absolutely. I think it took, you know, my co-founder and I coming from outside of skincare and coming from outside the industry and yet being passionate users of this product to come up with this new approach to, you know, to solving skincare. So I think for all the, you know, audience members of Caviar, like, don't be afraid if you're not like an industry insider or you're not an insider in any particular thing to come up with new perspective and improve on something. And I think that's the learning that we had. And I think that's the initial chutzpah that we had as immigrants. You know, she's also an immigrant. So we both, you know, came from nowhere and, you know, we're able to sort of, you know, lead a good life in the US. So why can't we go into an industry coming out of nowhere and try to improve upon it? Like, it's, you know, it's all possible. And we're firm believers in that.
Yes, which I love that. I love that so much. That is such amazing advice. And your energy is infectious. And I think you're so inspiring. I'm so excited about Proven for you because this is going to be $1 billion company.
It really is.
And I just know.
I should imagine L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, and Johnson & Johnson will be calling you anytime soon.
Yes, I know.
They could acquire you for sure.
I think it's going to be great.
So everyone's been telling me about vitamin C serum. And before I did my Proven test and got my Proven kit, I started using the vitamin C. I've used everything. I've used the retinol, which almost burnt half my face up and I look like Freddy Krueger. I'll try anything. If someone's like, eat that kitten over there, you'll look younger. I'll be like, sure, give me a knife and fork.
I know.
So is there one specific thing that you think everyone should be using? Because people are telling me everyone should use vitamin C.
You know, vitamin C is definitely a great ingredient and most people should be using vitamin C. In fact, you know, for most of our formulations for morning, we provide people vitamin C. I think the issue is when we ourselves have to play chemist at home. Because if you combine vitamin C with the wrong ingredients, it actually is very harmful to your skin. It'll like burn your skin raw.
Oh, so that's what I was doing last week.
That's why, you know, we're such believers in providing people with the right set of products that already, you know, figures out some ingredients are safe to use at night. And then, you know, that leaves a 12-hour window before your vitamin C can be applied in the morning. So I think that's what I would caution people. You know, vitamin C is a great ingredient. Same thing with retinol. For most people, that is perfect. But for some people, if you don't use it at the right time or with the right other ingredients, it'll actually be so harmful for your skin.
Wow, that's crazy. I guess like the AHAs and stuff, if you use those in the morning and then you sat driving in your car with the sun glaring in your face,
it's not good.
Bueno.
No.
Exactly. And with vitamin C, with retinol, with all these other strong ingredients, you need to use a lot more sunscreen than you think you otherwise need because your skin is, you know, open and absorbing all the rays.
Ming, I just want to ask, your parents must be so proud of you.
Thank you. So my dad is an entrepreneur. Like he was among the first generation to start a company in China after Deng Xiaoping opened the economy. So, they went from all these planned economy to entrepreneurship. And when he started a company, I remember even as a small kid that my grandfather really opposed it. He was like, why would you leave your he was like at the school board. He was like, why would you leave your, iron rice bowl to start an entrepreneur? Like in their minds, entrepreneurship was like, you selling something on the street corner. You're like, selling like donuts on the street corner. So when I started a company, my dad he understood it. But then my mom, was a little more incredulous because, us coming to the States was not easy. We're immigrants. They don't speak English. To this day, they don't really speak English. So they always felt so sort of, so foreign and, alien in this country that, they can't imagine me having to not only go through this cultural barrier, but also the additional barriers that they know coming from, entrepreneurship. So I think, for them, they were more just concerned about what kind of experience I would have, but they ultimately supported me. And I think now they're, really happy that I did it. And they knew that they couldn't stop me either. So
yes. And does your mother use the products? Does your mother, I know.
She does. Sometimes she'll just be like, oh, I need more of this. Like, send me more of this.
It's so cute. I love that. That's so impressive.
That is impressive. How hard was it to leave such a lucrative industry, even though it was a burnout industry?
I spent the first part of my career choosing, and chasing this kind of, so to speak, prestige. And, I think it's just a growing period that you have to go through. It's just something that you learn, that chasing these things that sound great on paper, or that, when you're at a cocktail party, when you name the company, people are like, oh, it's all fake.
It's true.
At the end of the day, you have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to believe in what you're doing, the mission and what your purpose. And for me, being at those companies never drove at that. Not like entrepreneurship, not like creating something that people need and people love. Kind of like creating something out of nothing. One of my hobbies back when I could have a hobby was glass blowing. And that's when you like take glue, and you shape it and it turns into something solid and beautiful and creative. And I feel like entrepreneurship is the same way. You're just thinking of ideas out of nothing. And then with teamwork and with good people, it turns into something real. And then people write you emails about how much they love your product. And it's the most satisfying process ever.
I know. I feel the same way. I feel like, when we were like I could start crying.
I know. I miss our old company so bad. I met Margaret, she was doing like handmade decoupage storage at a factory here. And people still email about those products.
We were up
now.
24 hours a day. And when I was up 24 hours a day and had less money and less headaches, obviously. It was so satisfying. We'd go to trade shows, and I hate to say it, I'd tell Lexi flirt with the electrician so we could get cheap electricity. And it was so satisfying though, because it sounds so crazy, but we came up with a home product no one had, this creative storage. And we were in monogramming way before anybody was in monogramming 20 years ago.
That's not easy.
And everybody loved it, from Neiman Marcus to the small boutiques. And, and it was so satisfying. And sometimes, that's what we're driven by. And I think people don't realize it. So many people are just driven by prestige and what sounds good. And I have a fancy car, but real entrepreneurs aren't driven by that.
No.
Absolutely. And I think that's why this process has brought me so much joy, even though I'm, more stressed and more busy than I ever thought I would be,
But you enjoy it. And that's
what I love it. I love it. Yeah. It's kind of like, it's kind of like parenting, it's completely changed my life, but it's also made it so much more joyous than I ever would have imagined. And having two babies at once is crazy, but also has their, they complement each other actually. I feel like having my daughter is she's like a secret weapon for me.
Oh, yes.
And, even when the days are bad or when it feels bleak or tedious, I can see her at the end of the day with her, smiling little face. And I know that, everything is fine. It's not, the sky's not falling down. So, even though people are like, oh, how can you do both at once? It's like a secret winning formula.
It is. Oh, that's so good. Does that make you feel better?
It does. It makes me feel better. No, I have it too. I have days where I'm just like, this parenting thing is so tough, especially for working women. But it's funny. I do think Corona and COVID was a very, it's like an equalizer in the playing
Yes.
field for moms who work
Right.
and moms who didn't, because it made a lot of people realize how hard it is to work and have your kids, as well. So I think it was a good equalizer in that people are hopefully a lot kinder to working moms. And
Absolutely. I think it made us more empathetic to each other, right? We know how difficult both sides are.
Yeah, both sides are very, very difficult.
Mhm.
very hard.
And I haven't had little kids around in a long time, but we always have Nino. I have Lexi's son here, and we're all moms. So Ming, we ask certain questions at the end of the podcast to everybody that we think are very pertinent. Since we say we're very entrepreneur real, what is the most real bit of advice that you could give someone? Not about a business plan, or it could be whatever, but what's the most real advice that you could give to someone?
So, I feel like in the early stages of entrepreneurship, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I think there's this sort of hustle message that gets sent out by Silicon Valley, by who knows who, what, that you have to either devote everything to it or you're not a real entrepreneur. I don't think that's true at all. You can't have your job, devote some time outside of it to this, to this venture, to this idea, or to this, early company. And until it gets to a certain scale, certain size, with a certain number of teammates, you could just run them both at the same time. It'll be, it'll take more of your time, but you can just watch less TV or whatnot. So I don't think there's this pressure. You don't have to pressure yourself as much to say, I either choose to be an entrepreneur or I'm nothing. Feel free to start small, because the early days, there's a lot of like waiting to hear back from vendors, waiting to hear back from marketers, et cetera, et cetera. So give yourself that time. Like the first 2 years, you don't have to be full time.
God, that's great. That's great advice.
And we ask a lot also, what was the biggest pull up your big girl panties moment when starting Proven? Like, what was the one moment that was like so hard, that was so over-facing, but such an aha moment?
Oh my gosh. So I think one moment that is very salient in my mind is, I remember, during one of the many, many fundraising conversations I had, I was sitting there with my co-founder, Amy. By the way, Dr. Amy Yuan, she is a computational physicist from Stanford. She broke the world record for the largest computational simulation on a supercomputer. Like, this girl has brains. We were sitting there, we were talking to this, VC, and he was like, just talking to us as if we were just starting some small skincare brand that we're going to sell in, it's just in farmers markets. And that was the extent of our ambition. And, here we are, two women, like, I came from Harvard and she came from Stanford, and we're both, we both had accomplished careers at this point. And yet, because we're two young women, we were being looked down, just like, all we could do is like, a back of a pickup truck kind of company. And it was such a wake-up call that I have to stand up for myself and not let these people who have no idea what they're doing or what they're talking about dictate what my future and the future of my company will be. So from there, I did not talk to them as if they knew more than I did. I established myself, established my company, told them the full story. If they're not on board, I move on. And I think that's just
How did you handle that? What did you say to them?
I think it was definitely a shock at that time. It was definitely a shock, and there was a lot of sadness and heartbreak because, we had put so much into the company already at that point. And I think it wasn't until like a couple of days later until I reflected on it, until I reflected on who I am or what I've been through and what I believe I can accomplish, that I really have this, inspiration. So that the next week with all my other, investment conversations, was I able to really just pick myself up and just, establish myself. I think it definitely took a little bit of healing and then recovering.
I know. I think you're absolutely right.
Well, I
think
hope he regrets it right now. I hope he looks at
absolutely. We're gonna make him really regret it.
Yeah,
that's motivation.
By the way, I know. I hate that. Like, sometimes I feel like we're very underestimated. We're blonde, bubbly women, and we come in with an idea, which we have an idea right now, and then people are like, oh, well,
That's
how
nice.
come no one else has done that yet? Why do you think no one else is? Once that was said to it.
Yeah, that.
And I was like, no one else has done it yet because they're fucking stupid.
Right.
That's why,
Yeah.
because we think of things first. And I always say I'd made everybody else, millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions. And
Like,
we made a little percentage, but we're done doing that shit.
Yeah. I always laugh when I see like, you know, how saturated the tech accessories industry is. Like, really the first girly products were when we showed up at CES in Vegas.
Consumer electronics. We were the first ones in Walmart. We were doing 10 million a year in Walmart.
And people looked at us like we showed up. And so I understand how you feel in that. Well, you show up in gray and black suits of people judging you, like our gumball iPhone cases and zebra prints and glitter.
And that was so a long time ago.
And such a joke in the industry and the serious tech accessories. Well, the joke was on them in the end.
Yes, exactly. And then everyone knocked us off and then, you know, basically pushed us out because we lost our momentum. But it's okay because we made a lot of money.
Yeah, we're in and we're on to the next.
Yeah, we're in and on to the next. So the other thing I was going to say, I mean, I probably know what you're going to say. I always say I'm successful because I was 50% determination, 50% delusion. Because if I didn't believe my own hype, who would? So I always had the biggest dreams and no one was going to crush them. So what percent delusion are you and what percent determination?
I think depending on who you ask. I would say an 80% delusion.
See, now she's so smart and that's what she says. See, I agree. Like, I think delusion is a big driving force.
I mean, I remember when I first came to the country, you know, I remember coming out of the airport in Miami. I had never seen palm trees before. I was like 12 years old. You know, I seen these palm trees. In school, I sported this because my mom had heard that in America, haircuts were so expensive. So she gave me the shortest boy haircut you could ever imagine, you know, as a teenager. It was wonderful when I first moved here. And I was actually so ridiculous, like when I first got here, you know, first couple of years of school. But I just had such faith in myself, you know, even though I didn't speak English, even though I didn't have the right clothes, I had no jeans, I had no shoes that were right, and I had this stupid haircut. I still had so much faith that it would all be okay. And when people made fun of me, I was just like, oh, whatever, you know, like it'll be okay. And it's true, you know, if you think it's gonna be okay and you have faith in yourself, I think it'll be okay.
I mean, Jesus, you should be a motivational speaker.
I know. I'm like,
I
would like to instill this in my children. What do you think it was about your parents that gave you such like good hope and spirit in yourself?
I think my mom also had a lot of faith in me because I wasn't a traditional, you know, in a Chinese way, good student. You know, I wouldn't like, you know, memorize like textbooks and pay a lot of attention. I was always the kid that was in detention when I was in China, like in the back of the classroom. The teacher would like find her and say, you know, she should probably like, you know, stay a grade behind. She should, you know, go to the next grade or, you know, not go to the next grade. And my mom will always be like, oh, that's okay. She'll catch up. And she's done that her whole life for me. And I think a lot of that rubbed into me as well, that I will catch up. I will be okay.
I
love that. Wow. You are so amazing. Especially, I could cry.
I know, me too.
She's
I'm so impressed by it. I mean, it's so impressive. And I mean, Proven is going to change skincare the way we know it. And that's I just want to
but I think your personality is so good. And I think you can, if I go on tour, you're coming with me.
Yes.
No, seriously. No, I really, as soon as COVID's over, she's coming with us. Ming, thank you. I love that you say you were so delusional.
Yes, delusion.
That makes me feel good. Delusion is everything. Well, thank you so much for coming on because you're so inspiring.
This was incredible.
Incredible. I loved every second. I can't wait to be together when this COVID's over. Well, thank you, Ming.
So much.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes, tell everybody.
So you can find us at provenskincare.com, where you can take the free 3-minute skin quiz to figure out your specific formulation.
Great. And what about on Instagram?
On Instagram, we're also at provenskincare.com, PROVEN skincare.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Ming.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you. Bye. I'm obsessed with her. First of all, she's so smart. She gives the best advice. She gave us great advice.
I feel so inspired and lifted from that conversation.
Me too. And you know what makes me happy? She's a genius. She partnered with great people. She went to venture capitalists. She graduated Harvard. They talked down to her, which I feel like people talk down to us. So I don't feel like I'm such a dope.
That's good company to be in.
Yes, good company to be in.
To Ming, then I feel okay. It was funny when we first were introduced to Ming and she told us, she's like, oh yeah, I started this company with my friend. I was like, shit, we got to get smarter friends.
I know. No, you're very smart. I'm happy I'm starting with you.
Harvard.
No, but still.
I do think creating a team of people that believe in something is much more powerful than hiring people on contract. I really do.
No, I agree. And getting the right investors and the smartest people you could find. So thank you, Ming. And I hope you, Caviar Dreamers, you enjoyed this, because I think this, I mean, you can't pay for this knowledge. You cannot pay for a course like this. And when we go on tour, God willing, the Caviar Dream Entrepreneur Tour, Ming's coming with us.
Yes.
Because I'm a little obsessed with her.
Beyond obsessed. I hope everyone has fun trying the proven skincare. I mean,
proven skincare,
data-driven skincare. They even ask you like where you live, your zip code. I mean, it's so interesting.
How long you're on the computer, how long you commute, where you commute, it just everything.
It's great. So everyone needs to go on and then tell their friends when they get it and love it too.
You guys are going to love it. You can find me at The Real Margaret Josephs.
Me at The Life of Mrs. B. And we are Caviar Dreams Tuna Fish Budget on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah. And always go on my website, margaretjosephs.com, because a link to everything is there.
Yeah. One-stop shop.
One-stop shop.
Thank you, Caviar Dreamers. Keep dreaming.
Keep dreaming.